Hello and welcome. You are watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is a special edition where our focus is on the Biocon Biologics earnings. Remember, this is a part of Biocon and the biosimilars business, that is. In Q4, we've seen the revenue for the company grow at 23 or 12% higher on a year-on basis, and it has come in at 2,358 odd crore rupees. Remember, for the year, fiscal year 2024, the biosimilars revenue has actually crossed the $1 billion mark as well. So that's a landmark. The core EBITDA for the company has stayed at 698 crore rupees, where the margins for the quarter have grown at a healthy 24%. For the year again, EBITDA for the year has stood at 2,190 odd crore rupees, and this is on a year-on-year basis a sharp 64% growth with a margin of 25%. Now, joining in now to discuss with us more details as far as the earnings are concerned, Mr. Siddharth Mittal joins in, the CEO and the MD at Biocon. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. First up, how have you assessed the overall earnings this time around in Q4 and overall in fiscal year 2024 as well? And then, therefore, I will ask you on the outlook going forward from here, sir.
Sure, Sakshi. So I think, of course, it's been, as you said, the transformational year for us, a milestone year for us on two accounts. One, we completed the transition of business from Viatris to Biocon Biologics this year, and we have seen a very good traction coming in. Post the transition, we have started to see market share of our key products in the US, in the Europe, and many other emerging markets go up compared to last year. And we've also crossed the $1 billion milestone, which is what we had guided to, that post the acquisition on a full year basis, we expect the revenues to cross a $1 billion milestone, and which has been delivered this fiscal year. And we are, of course, when you look at a full year basis, the growth has been 58%. Of course, it had a part year impact of the acquisition numbers coming in. But on a quarter-on-quarter basis, when you look at quarter four this year versus quarter four, it's been again a strong 12% growth, mainly coming in from growth in our emerging markets, based on the tenders that our partners won and based on the launches that we did on our own in some of these markets.
Okay. And the outlook, sir, does it look promising on this base right now? What is the kind of guidance you can give in terms of growth for us on the top line and on the profitability figure, sir?
See, we, of course, have key catalysts coming in next year, that the growth is going to come from existing products. We are gaining market share, whether it's in the US, Europe, and emerging markets for the products which have been launched already. We will, of course, look at launching the current pipeline of products in newer markets as and when we get approvals in those markets. And of course, the focus right now is on obtaining regulatory approvals for the products which have been filed in the US. So as you know, bevacizumab and aspart are the two key products which are pending with the FDA, for FDA to come and inspect our facilities, and after which we, of course, hope that we'll get the approval and launch these products in the US. Though what we have said is that the meaningful impact of these two launches will be seen in FY26, but if we get the products approved in early on, we'll still see some impact come in. Now, apart from that, we had launched adalimumab last year. As we all know, the market is still forming in the US for biosimilars, and it's early days, but we have seen some traction, green shoots in the US. And of course, we will continue to work with our customers to see how we can win additional business, which will also contribute to the growth.
Right. So I also wanted to ask you, there is this entire buzz about how, companies like yours may be looking at launching weight loss drugs in India. We've heard Cipla talk about it. There was buzz from your company as well. I want you to give us that clarification if you're looking at that space at all. How promising does this space really look? How would you like to go about it? And, what can customers expect right here?
I think that's a great question. But you also know that recently we divested our branded formulations business in India to Eris Life Sciences. And we, of course, want to bring drugs in the Indian market because this is our home base. We have differentiated product portfolio. Indian population is big. There is a huge shortfall of differentiated drugs, and I think our strategy on a go-forward basis will be to continue to work with Indian companies who have a strong base, a good foundation, so that they can commercialize these drugs on our behalf.
Okay, and since you did talk about the selling of your business for about 1242 odd crore rupees to Ares, could you give us, a sense of how are you now planning to utilize these funds, and is this, whatever relationship that you've built with Ares, is it going to be long lasting? I think 10 years was something that you had looked at, right, sir?
That's right. So we have an exclusive supply agreement with Eris for 10 years, where we will continue to manufacture and supply drugs to Eris. And when it comes to utilization of funds, of course, we will look at a combination of paring down debt and utilizing some of the funds to fulfill our other obligations. If you recall, there was deferred payments to Viatris as a part of the overall business acquisition, which was due in this fiscal FY25. So part of those funds will also be used to pay Viatris.
Okay, so on your generics business, what is the kind of outlook that you have from this space, and how do we see things progressing from Q1 onwards in the new fiscal year?
See, in generics business, of course, one of the biggest issue is the pricing pressure on your base
Yeah.
business. Now, if you look at our current base, which has been stable, and that's why there's been no growth in the quarter 4, we do not have any key launches coming up in H1 of next fiscal, and no new capacities are kicking in, which can be commercialized in our major markets. So H1 should be at similar levels as H2 of last year, but
Okay.
H2 of next fiscal is when we expect some key launches. As you would have heard that recently we got approval for liraglutide, the first generic liraglutide to be approved anywhere in a major market. So that was an approval that we got in UK. We also have our file, which is in final stages of review with the European regulators, and we expect to launch liraglutide in UK and Europe in the later half of next fiscal, which will drive growth. Apart from that, there are few other products which have been filed with the FDA, again in the final stages of review, and we will launch these drugs. And again, the impact of that would be seen in H2 of FY25.
Okay, so could you also give us a sense of the kind of market size that these new drugs would be looking at tapping, and what kind of market share are you looking to hold post these launches, sir, once these approvals come in?
I think, Sakshi, it'll be a bit premature for me to comment on it because
Okay.
this, as I said, that this is the first approval for any GLP-1 in a major market. Now we have to really go through that phase, prepare for the launch. Our partner Zentiva is going to launch the drug in Europe along with our own. We are also going to launch it because it's a co-exclusive right, and we'll have to really see how the switch happens, how the when the tenders come out, and what kind of market share we are able to gain. And of course, Europe is not one market, as you know, it's very fragmented. Each country has a different characteristic, and we'll have to see how much time it takes to get to a decent market share, and by when.
Okay, so also give us a sense of the kind of you're looking at the product pipeline. You've already talked about the generics business as well. Going forward from here, what is the demand scenario right now of these kind of products, and how do you see this panning out?
I think I'll specifically talk about the whole GLP space.
Yeah.
As you know, that this is a very, very exciting space. The two or three peptides launched by whether the US company or the European companies, I mean, they are doing extremely well. The analyst predictions are that over the next few years, just two or three drugs market is expected to be over $100 billion, and there are multiple such drugs which are under clinical trial for both obesity and treating diabetes. And we are very excited with this whole opportunity in front of us. Biocon is very well positioned. We have the scientific know-how. We have seen the success with our first approval in UK. And we think that this will be a game changer for Biocon over the next couple of years in terms of driving the growth in generics business.
Okay, sir. Well, on that note, thank you so much for speaking to us on Business Today and sharing these insights from the quarterly earnings. All the very best to you for the upcoming quarters as well. And we'll be as excited to get you back to give us more sense of how are things progressing on this front as you, because this is definitely a newer space that has all the medicine enthusiasts really looking at this opportunity going forward from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, with that, we wrap up this conversation with Biocon. But do stay tuned on to Business Today as we continue to get you more exciting conversations around earnings. And of course, we will be also getting you more information from the world of business and finance going forward.